Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. It is All Around Sports, and I am your host, Jay Jacinto, and we are back with another episode. And we are going to be talking about my reaction to my Week 3 game picks. Last week in Week 2, I was 5-11, and let's see how I did this week. Starting off with our Thursday Night Football game, which was the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got this match right. I predicted the Browns were winning. They did, 29-17. Jacoby Brissett still proving that he is a starting caliber quarterback, as he has looked really good through 3 weeks, and he is looking like a good quarterback for the Browns to have. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson is suspended. Moving on to the next game, I have the Bears and the Texans, and I predicted this one right again. The Bears won 23-20. Even though the Bears barely win this game, they won due to the defense doing just enough to hold off Davis Mills and the Texans offense. Moving on to the next game, I got my first one wrong. It was the Raiders and the Titans. The Raiders did lose, as I predicted them to win. Final score was 24-22 Titans. A tough game between two good teams. They were both 0-2 heading into this match, and one team had to lose, and unfortunately it was the Raiders. Moving on to the next game, I have the Chiefs and the Colts. Chiefs lose this game 17-20. A very interesting game. Matt Ryan played really good. Mahomes played really good. Just the Chiefs couldn't hold off the Colts, and the Colts ended up winning. I mean, it was a very surprising match, but at the end of the day, I was wrong. Moving on to the next game, I have the Bills and the Dolphins. I thought the Bills would win, and they didn't. Final score was 19-21. The Dolphins defeat the Buffalo Bills. It was a great game, but I believe once the Bills are healthy again, they will show their dominance on the league again. I mean, missing Poyer, missing Hyde, both your starting safeties, huge thing for the Bills, as the safeties are a huge part of their defense, and it was evident that they were missing them in this game. Moving on to the next game, I have the Lions and the Vikings. The Vikings won 28-24, and I chose the Vikings to win this game. Right now, the Vikings are just a better team than the Lions, but the Lions are slowly starting to come out of that rebuild phase, and they're just going to need a couple more pieces to be a real contender in the NFC. Moving on to the next game, I have the Ravens and the Patriots. I picked the Ravens, and they did win 37-26, as Lamar Jackson continues to show why he is going to be worth that big money contract that he wants in this upcoming offseason. Moving on to the next game, this was my upset pick of the week. I got it wrong. It was the Bengals and the Jets. The Jets did lose 27-12. I picked the Jets to win. Evidently, they didn't. Finally, the Bengals showed up to finally play some football, and Joe Burrow had his best game of the year. Of course, the game that I picked to be an upset. It's fine. That's how it is sometimes. Moving on to the next game, I have the Eagles versus the Washington Commanders, and the Philadelphia Eagles did win 24-8. As Jalen Hurts is playing like an MVP, and he's an easy early season MVP favorite. He's just playing on a different level this year. He's playing like Lamar Jackson in his rookie year, but can throw the ball 70 yards down the field, and is throwing great balls to Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, using Miles Sanders in the read option play to perfection. Jalen Hurts is looking amazing to start the year. Moving on to the next game, I have the Saints and the Panthers. The Saints did lose this game 14-22. I picked the Saints to win. Simple enough, they lost because Jameis Winston is not a good starting quarterback. And until they get a new quarterback in there, they will continue to lose football games. Next game, I have the Jaguars and the Chargers. I picked the Chargers to win this, and I thought this was a pretty easy game to predict. But the Jaguars came out and shocked the world when they beat them 38-10. I mean, Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are looking like a great match together. They are looking like a match made in heaven, as they put on an onslaught of points against the LA Chargers defenses. Trevor Lawrence is looking like a great player now after not having Urban Meyer and having a good head coach in there and Doug Peterson. The Jaguars are starting to look like a scary team. Next game, you have the Rams and the Cardinals. I predicted the Rams to win this, and they did 20-12. I mean, Kyler Murray is just not looking the best, but the Rams are still a great team. They just need to give Matthew Stafford another weapon besides Cooper Kupp, and this would be an elite offense. Next game, I have the Falcons and the Seahawks. Falcons won 27-23. I got this one right. Simple enough. The Falcons are just a better team on the night. Honestly, you could have flipped a coin on this one. They're both two pretty bad teams, and luckily I predicted this one right. Next game, I had the Packers and the Bucks. Packers won 14-12. I mean, Tom Brady just did not have any receiver help. He didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. I mean, Mike Evans was suspended. Chris Godwin was still out. Russell Gage. I mean, countless receivers still out for the Bucks. I mean, Cole Beasley should be a big pickup for them in this next week, and I think you'll see a lot of plays going towards Cole Beasley, as he is a great slot receiver, and he hasn't had that type of receiver since Julian Edelman, and I think it will really show how important Cole Beasley is to any offense that he's in. Moving on to the Sunday Night Football match, we had the 49ers versus the Broncos. I picked against the Broncos. I thought the 49ers would win this, and I mean, it was a 10-11 game. Both teams looked awful. I mean, it was just an overall messy game for both teams, but especially the 49ers. I mean, to sum it up, Jimmy Garoppolo stepped out of the back of the end zone. I mean, that is just an awful thing to happen and something you never want to happen in any circumstance. Moving on to the Monday Night Football game, the Cowboys and the Giants. Final score was 23-16. The Giants lost. I thought that they might win. I mean, they still look good, but the O-line is just so bad in New York, and the Cowboys did so good to attract pressure to Daniel Jones. I mean, he got hit 20 times and rushed 20 times. I mean, that's really bad in one game. I mean, got to feel for Daniel Jones, but you got to take some positives out of this if you're a Giants fan. You got one strong quarterback, and he will fight for your team to the very last minute, as he was really putting on a clinic. I mean, maybe not a clinic, but he was doing really good. I mean, even with all that pressure, he was fighting, and he wasn't going down without a fight, as he kept going to the very last minute of the game. But overall this week, I was 7-9, an improvement from last week where I was 5-11. I mean, that's 2 more wins right there, and if you go on next week, that'd be 9-7. So hey, who knows for next week? That moves me now to 12-20 overall, which is not bad through 2 weeks of the NFL season. I mean, I did miss week 1 because I wasn't recording games then, but not too bad. 12-20 overall. That was my reaction to my week 3 game picks. Tomorrow, I will have the week 4 picks for this week, as I will be picking them. Hopefully, I can go above the 500 mark, but that is it for today's episode. I am All Around Sports. I am your host, Jay Jacinto, and I will be seeing you guys later. Have a good day.